Right, everyone, good morning. Good morning. Oh my god, it's so early. Are we live? And it's not Saudi. Get out of here. Oz. Damn it, I spelled it wrong. Oz GP. There are only 22 minutes to go. We're not messing around here, are we? Let's get this up. Hang on a second. That sounds like Formula E. Some Formula E going on there. Big Formula E news, by the way, to let you know about, because we're going to be going down to a race very soon and actually doing the watch along from the race, which is super cool. Yes. Martin Brundle's already on the grid. Morning, Vlad. Oh my goodness, people are up early. Should we get that map out of Saudi Arabia? Hang on a second. Let me zoom this over to Melbourne. Which one is the map? It's that one. Nice. Lovely. Get the old chat up as well. Perfect. I'm all set up. Funky Monkey's here as well. Everyone is up. Look, I've got my tea and I've got 2 packets of Pom Bears. That's frankly all I need. And honey, but the honey... Does something fall into my tea? Does something fall into my tea? Oh well. We'll find out. We'll find out. It'll be okay. Zeno's here, JJ's here, C's here, Afrotonda's here, Bolivian's here, Ruzant, Holly Venter. Why is Sainz out? Oh god, he isn't out. It's who's out this time? Sargent. Very good spot there. Very good spot. Ah, damn it. There we go. Thank you very much. Fitbits here, Nasha second, Hawken Path, Ended, Joseph Sapath. Have I missed anyone out from the crew? From this is the hardcore crew. This is the Formula 1 year of Max Verstappen domination, and we're all here. Because we're just the hardcore. Like, early for a lot of us. Who is up the earliest? Who's it the earliest for? Is it earlier for people in... Would it be Ireland? Is anyone watching from Ireland? No worries. C says over one. Black is still sleeping. I'm basically still sleeping. So this is why I bought this. For days like these. But to be honest, my day yesterday was like... was a crazy day. So... it was a crazy day. Which meant I was up actually at... I haven't actually gone to sleep. My time is all mixed up. But I've been up since 10 PM. So I'm going to go to sleep after this. What's going on? Who's this on the grid? Is it... I don't know who these people are. Are they Australian football players or something? No idea. Seth Rollins. Who've we got? Who have we got? Oh my god, the chat is absolutely going mad. Christopher Rains, it's been 30 years of following F1 and still can't get used to 12-hour time difference. It's going to be Japan next. Is it? No. Is it Japan next? What's next? Formula E is Japan next week. Bolivians, it's 4:40 AM in Venice. Okay, because you're an hour later. Watching from Venice, very nice. 9:30 AM in India. It says prime time India. Stash is up late East Coast US. Holly's in Canada. It's midnight. Deadpool's here. Nash watching from Texas. Iceland would be earliest, yeah. Rudrat says, could Lando Winver? Could Lando Winver? I've honestly, I feel like this is the highest chance we've had so far of Verstappen not winning. I just feel like it's a bit of a weird Grand Prix in the sense it's on the other side of the world, generally speaking. We've already seen unusual stuff like Williams don't have a third chassis, full stop, which is a gamble. But they certainly don't have one here. Like Stake haven't brought their other front wing here, so I just wonder if, I don't know. It just got that feeling sort of you're it's pushing the limits here a little bit more than we've seen in the earlier races. That's what I feel like, but we'll see what's going to happen. Verstappen starting front row. I think it was another 2 or 3 tenths on pole, which is very similar to what we've seen previously. Japan is next, Snowline says. Okay, so it is Japan next. Japan was much later in the season last season, wasn't it? There's a lady from Red Bull who's taking Christian Horner to meet someone. Who is it? It looks like Matt Damon. Nope, it's Sam Worthington. See, it's all arranged. It's all arranged by the teams. There's a PR lady from Red Bull said to Martin, "Come this way, chat with our guest." And the guest comes down because they know they're going to get 20 seconds of airtime. None of this is by chance. It's all a carefully choreographed PR and marketing exercise. And then they attach loosely a motorsport race to it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Formula One. Funky's been playing Logistic and Truck Simulator with Growing Games. I want to do some more Truck Simulator. Apparently I was doing the wrong one. I was doing American Truck Simulator. Should have been doing European one. But I've got a European one as well. Amy says, starting at midnight for me, but I feel like sleeping. Honestly, if it's late where you are, and this is a boring race, just fall asleep. There's no prizes. There's no prizes for being like, I stayed up for all of the 2024 Australian Grand Prix sponsored by Ryanair. Just go with the flow. But you probably do, if you're here now, you probably do want to see the beginning in 15 minutes time. Ben Johnson says, why do Williams put Albon in the other guy's car? Because they have no faith in Logan Sargent. It's a bit of a conundrum, because if they have no faith in Logan Sargent in this scenario, why have they put him in the car full stop? Clearly because he's a pay driver. So it exposes the whole pay driver thing, which is that if you're a pay driver, well, you know. Did anyone see the influencer who went down and took pictures of George Russell in the toilet? Influencers these days, you know. This is the hardcore right here. This group, what you see in the live chat, this is the hardcore. We need a hardcore badge. 14 minutes to go. Carlos Sainz is back. Bit lighter, without an appendix. Max crashed turn 1. Well, we will see. I just got a funny feeling that it's a little bit out of the normal comfortable window here, Australia. And when we used to have Australia at the start of the season, you did tend to see a lot of retirements. So Japan is where Max won the title. See, I can't even remember that Max won the title. I thought Red Bull won the constructors there, not the title. I might be wrong. But I remember we did a big stream in Japan last year, and it was the stream went really well. Wasn't Liam Lawson in then, wasn't he? Because he'd been there in Super Formula as well. Amy says, isn't Williams a mid-team and behind in the building development? They're definitely, yeah. But the fact they don't have a third car is obviously built on the cost cap and whatnot. But Williams get more allotted time for wind tunnel development and stuff like that, because they are near the back. So it's interesting how the cost cap works or doesn't work. So they've moved Japan up. Interesting. Interesting. Amy, I'm absolutely not staying up late for the rest of the season. I love F1, but recently I got my sleep schedule fixed. Sleep is underrated. Sleep is definitely underrated. Australian national anthem now. Don't know whether it's a banger or not. It's not one that I really know, to be honest. What is the Australian national anthem? Bolivians, no one really knows his uncle. So when you say Bolivians for breakfast, can you expand on that? Because are you or are you not a cannibal? Why is Checo 6? He got a penalty for impeding in qualifying. That's why. Yeah, see you, CNET. Welcome, Chaya Kimono. It's all the hardcore. It's all the hardcore here. Nice get up, Eye of the Tiger. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Stash loves sleep. How many hours sleep do people get in the chat? Just put your number in how many hours sleep you would on average get. Not what you want. Oh, Sky aren't even there. Lazy ass Sky presenters in the studio. Guys, you're basically doing what I'm doing. You know? Come on, send them out there. Want to see them? I don't want to see them in like some studio in Milton Keynes. Depresses me. That said, welcome to my studio. Chris, we're going to start a fresh F123 career sergeant to pay respects. Press F to pay respects. Cat Martin says, good evening for everyone. I'm on time. Cat, are you in Australian time zone then? Shan's going Oscar. Amy, hopefully Alex doesn't get a crash. We'll see. Right, here comes the sleep then. 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8. A bit getting 8. Hawkenpath getting 9 hours sleep. That's more than a third of the day asleep, my friend. But is that what's the medically recommended number? Ace is getting 5. Black is getting between 6 and 7. Chaya's done it properly. Went to bed at 9 and set the alarm. So Chaya's got loads of sleep actually. Advanced Australia Fair. No idea what that means, my friend. Oh, Las Vegas. Well, you're in perfect time zone for the Las Vegas race. Although maybe not, because it starts at midnight, doesn't it? I don't like seeing these presents in the studio, considering I'm paying lots of money for my Sky subscription that I only use for these watch-alongs. I don't watch football stuff anymore. I probably should. Amy's been recording sleep with the Samsung sleep thingy, says 6, 7. Snow, people who sleep less usually live longer. That is a huge shout. Is that true? Is that the secret to life? Oh, Ted Kravis is down there. Thing is, if you're going to fly out Brundle and Ted Kravis, why not fly out like a presenter? I don't know. Antoine says, do we get out? By the way, who's watching the F1 podcast? Let me know in the chat if you're watching the F1 podcast I'm shooting in a proper studio, like Sky, ironically. Or if you have no idea about the F1 content on the channel. If you're pure live stream. If it's not live, you're not interested. 8 hours is recommended. Thing is, right, let's say you get 6 hours sleep as opposed to 8. And let's say because of that you basically die earlier. So let's say you die 5 years earlier because you're getting 2 hours less sleep. But over the course of a year, how many more hours have you... Do you get what I mean? The equation, like, does it actually... Is it worth living a bit longer, but you're asleep for more of it? That's a very philosophical... See, when we do these early starts, can become extremely philosophical. Oh, Advanced Australia Fair. I thought that was like an expo or something. Well, Snowline says it's true, and no one has contradicted it, so I think we're going to roll with it's true. Matt's in Florida. It's almost midnight. Yeah, I've never been to Florida. Been all over the States, but I've never been to Florida, and I think I would love it. Chai's watching the podcast. Unprofessional drifter in the house. Neo, I haven't watched F1 in 2 years. Why is Hamilton so bad? He's just utterly washed. F1 pod for the win. Oh, Snowline's watching it as well. Stash digs it. There we go. Because we're doing another. We're gonna shoot another one this week. So we'll have the reaction to this. Then we're gonna take a week off the studio. So I wanted to do 4 weeks and then take a week off to kind of assess things and then go for another 4 weeks. So I'll be going out with some feedback questions. I think it would be good to, firstly, on the podcast stuff, it's like I had sort of assumed that going to a studio would just mean better content, and then I realised it doesn't work like that. It's just a different space. And then I looked at other podcasts, so I'd booked the studio and said with Sam, let's do this, before I even knew anything about podcasts or stuff like that. Then so after having done a couple of weeks, I, for the first time, looked at other podcasts, and I looked at other F1 podcasts run by ex-drivers or celebrities. There's a lot of celebrities now, like random celebrities just do F1 podcasts. And we sort of beat them on views. So basically, I was hoping that we could produce these podcasts and they'd get about maybe 5,000, 10,000, if on the absolute best side, 10,000 views an episode. And to be honest, and everything we shoot at the studio, the F1 long form podcast probably do the worst. Like they get to about 2K, which on this channel is quite low because I could just shoot a random video about Gran Turismo and it would get quite a bit more than that. But then I looked at the podcast from like famous people and they don't even get that. So, and some of the clips on short form that we do get a lot of views. So I think the F1 podcast is just a space where we just sort of need to commit to the short form is going to be quite exciting. But it's a bit like the sim racing show. I've now done 27 free newsletters on weekly sim racing news. And that doesn't bring in any revenue or anything. It's just like completely free thing that a lot of people watching hopefully will get. But maybe like once we hit about 50, there's another way to do that or something takes the next level. JJ member for 32 months. That is what I'm talking about. That 32 months membership. I don't even remember what I was wearing 32 months ago. It certainly was not this. Thanks so much, JJ. 32 months. Has it flown by? That is genuinely... Someone in chat might have had a child, and that child is now basically 3 years old. That's how long you've been a member. It's crazy. Welcome, Maryland. By the way, there are 4 minutes to go. 100 people watching. Great to have you all with us. 36 likes. Let's do this. Let's do the old share the stream. So if you're enjoying the stream, please do share it on Twitter, on YouTube. Just where you're watching now, there should be a red share button underneath. Let's share the stream for anyone who's interested in the F1 and happens to be awake. Let's do a public service. An old public service. Yeah, the podcast is fun though. I think what I realised about the podcast is that we get slated not because people are like, who are you? Just some random blokes. Even though Sam's raced with F1 drivers in real life, and I've raced with F1 drivers on sims and been around that world. But it's like, who are you random lads? But I feel like that's actually our well, we're not selling it, no one's paying for it, but that's like our selling point, is that we are kind of normal people interested in F1. We're not sponsored. We don't have to say this or that, or not say this or that. We just say the questions that everyone's thinking about. But then there is also that bit that we're not speaking from some level of massive inside knowledge. It's interesting. Again, in the last week, I've been looking at podcasts in the football world, like Mark Goldbridge and that sort of stuff, and understanding more about the history of like when those watch-alongs and football podcasts came along, they were quite disruptive. And now it looks like Sky Sports have sort of eaten that well, because now Sky Sports who own the exclusive rights to football in the UK, basically, have taken those concepts and have now put them on their channels. So there's no so there was an indie scene, and now that indie scene has been eaten. And now in Formula One world, I guess like this is the indie Formula One scene. Like, we are the independent. When I say we, I mean like all of us here. We're the independent watching Formula One as fans, just saying what we think. No agenda, just watching, enjoying, criticising, analysing, whatever. And I wonder in the future if Sky will move into this space and we'll lose that indie scene. I don't know. But special moment right now to be completely independent. JJ, your continued dedication to the Kireth community is touching. Yes, indeed. James, before you spend more money in the podcast studio, have you polled to see how many watching on 2-inch phone screen listening in earbuds? A lot of people say they watch it on their morning commute and whatnot, so I want to get them up on Spotify, which, yeah, I mean, yesterday for me was absolutely... So, I was in the hospital yesterday, not for me, but I was looking after someone else. Just, that's why I'm up this early, to be honest, because it was a mad day yesterday. Just eating into my weekend, but something I wanted to do this weekend was get those up on Spotify. Work out how to do it. It won't take very long. Just do it in the right way. I might come up with some branding. So hopefully I can get that done today. But I've also got a couple of videos need to do today as well. JJ, in 32 months, I've bought a house, got married, changed car from Ford to Audi, had 2 different jobs at here. I think the membership has had a lot to do with that. I think the membership to this channel has been a constant. That's been a platform to allow you to clearly flourish in your personal life. That's my assessment of that anyway. Right, we're almost underway here. Bit of a low-key start. Don't worry, it's going to be formation lap first, everyone. Welcome, Mia. Sorry, anyone else I've missed? Gabriella as well. Anyone forgets to swap Bearman out? That's a disaster if you've still got Bearman. Amy, hopefully I get to go Australian or Japanese GP next year. I'd love to go to Australia or Japan. It feels like a cool back-to-back to do in that part of the world. So respect how they've actually done the calendar there. Believers, I think we've all seen that with Matt from P1. But this is the thing, because you sort of no criticism of them or anyone else on, but there is you sell some of your independence by going into the mainstream like that. But I don't want to make that as criticism, so I think it's a great thing for the space. But that perhaps is an example, like you said, of sort of the mainstream. It's like, right, okay, there's an indie space that's flourished. We want to control that. Not in a conspiracy, control the narrative way, but just like we want that pie because we can monetize it. Welcome, Jacko Venek from Holland. Drive to Thrive got a software company. If you want to create any software for us for this stream, Drive to Thrive, feel free. Although you have just got a Lambo. Very nice. Welcome, Natasha. Matt Wares, I got into F1 because of Drive to Survive. And after watching my first actual race, I'm hooked. I saw NASCAR did a similar thing, didn't they? Charles watching with my cat Abu. Welcome to Charles and Abu in the house. Noel's watching from Greece. Go Hamilton. 6 AM in Greece. I'm going to be in Greece in a few weeks. Back to Greece. I was last in Greece 2 years ago. I had the best time in Greece 2 years ago. By the way, Formation Lap has just got underway. I was in Greece 2 years ago. It was just after the launch of Gran Turismo 7. And I'd made a load of content. And I had so much content queued up, I didn't actually need to make any more. I just needed to do thumbnails, titles, and get them out. So I thought, why not go to Greece for 3 days and just do it all out there? So I was just releasing content out in Greece. It was all doing really well. I was having the best food. The food was just amazing and super cheap. Just genuinely one of the best holidays I've ever had. So that was nice. That was 2 years ago. Almost exactly 2 years ago, I think. Good morning from Belgium as well. Cheats has got a cuppa and a J. Chaya full top 9 on medium. Alonso hard. Hamilton soft. Yeah, Hamilton not even getting in the top 10. The Hamilton washed rumours continue, don't they? You got a Lambo yesterday. Let us know what Lambo you got. By the way, still on the record attendance, 452,000 apparently in Melbourne. I don't know if that's a weekend thing or just here, but that is a lot of people. 452,000. Very nice. Jeff's watching forward. Let's do a very quick nation check before we get underway. Let us know where in the world you're watching from, everyone. They're still on the formation lap. Daniel Ricciardo's 10th Australian Grand Prix. Let us know where in the world. And we'll see before it gets underway. So what's going to happen is that the timing will be ahead of me a little bit. Timing will be ahead of me. And then I will call it as I see it. There we go. Oh, Jamaica in the house today. Barbados, Indonesia, Croatia, Canada, Texas. Bit of a different feel. Don't think we're going to have the Netherlands domination we've seen recently. South Africa, New Zealand. Very nice. Oh, here comes Netherlands. Netherlands coming through now. Am I doing the vertical stream? Not doing the vertical stream. I mean, I could, one button I could do it, but... Right, there you go. Right, you see, I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to watch the timing. I'm going to call it as I see it. I'm going to call it as I see it. So, as I see it, I've got Carlos Sainz, who actually is on the inside, although it's P2, he'll have the inside for turn 1. And the last Haas car pulls up. Oh, no. And Guan Yu Zhou goes into the pit lane where he's starting. So green flag goes, and we've got red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights as I see it. Red lights go out. Is it a good start for Verstappen? Yes, it is. It's a great start for Lando as well, but I think it's going to be pretty much as they are coming into turn 1. Are we going to see any contact as they funnel through? Not that I can see. Very congested at the back of the grid, but it's the front that I really want to see, Mr. Director. Carlos Sainz almost thinks about having a go into turn 4, I believe, but then doesn't. So it's pretty much as we were. It's a good start from Verstappen. Sergio Perez looks like he's been really swallowed up. Potentially he's a loser at the beginning. But otherwise, Verstappen is already getting a gap. And now I'm going to join you on the main timing here. And you can see, yes, it's already a 1 second gap for Max Verstappen. Did we expect anything else? Yeah, makes sense, Chaya. Christopher going Verstappen, Leclerc, Piastri for your podium. Just seeing if any more jostling. It looks like, is that George Russell just ahead of Perez? Yeah. So, I'm not sure if that was Russell getting ahead. I think it was Russell getting ahead of Perez. But Perez is now all over the back of him like a bad rash. See Guan Yu Zhou, who was very unlucky, wasn't he, in Saudi, has filtered into the back. And we've got the Visa Cash App Arby's dicing with the Hasses right at the back of the pack. So keep an eye on... Well, so one of them is Ricciardo, basically. Looks like he might have lost out. Who are the big gainers here? So Russell's gained a position. I think Hamilton's gained a position as well. Hamilton's got ahead of Alonso. So DRS now enabled. In fact, that's Sergio Perez under pressure. Stroll was having a look at Perez. Yeah. So Perez has dropped off a little bit from George Russell there, as you can see, and now he's got Stroll over him. Meanwhile, Carlos Sainz has got ahead of Verstappen. This is huge. How has this happened? This is genuinely massive. Huge moment here in the DRS zone. Yes, Carlos Sainz goes for an overtake on the lead. Genuine full position overtake as they go into the last sector. Carlos Sainz is in the lead, everyone. Can we get some hype for that in the chat? If you've got your Ferrari emojis, if you're part of the Tifosi, get your Ferrari emojis out. This is not a drill, everyone. This is not a drill. Carlos Sainz has just overtaken Max Verstappen. I called it earlier. I said this race might not go Max's way. That's what I said on Twitter earlier. Does Verstappen have an issue? Because Carlos Sainz is now gapping Max Verstappen. Your map is shading the total time. You are correct, my friend. You are correct. Let's sort that out for you here. There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. There we go. So, yeah, wow. Carlos Sainz is ahead in the DRS. The man with no appendix. Maybe the appendix was holding him back, frankly. Look at the chat here. Smooth operate. I mean, what a story. It was around the outside move from Carlos Sainz in the last DRS zone. 22.6 he was that lap. A lot faster. Ever Ridiki says, I think Max will not win this race. Well, at the moment, it's not going to be a Grand Slam for Max, is it? And I just wonder, can Lando Norris now sort of, you know, ex-teammate of Carlos Sainz, do Carlos Sainz a massive favour here by putting some pressure on Verstappen? Kat says no appendix weight advantage. Yes, he was carrying 8 kg of appendix there. Verstappen on the radio saying the car is loose. So Verstappen saying the car is loose. So he's not happy about it. And now he's got to drive in the dirty air of Carlos Sainz here. Let me try and just sort out these standings for you, as everything is sort of moved around. How about we do it a little bit more like that? What say ye, chat? What say ye about that? Matt says smoke coming. Yeah, smoke coming out of the car. I think the engine's gone. I think the engine's gone. Verstappen's not going to win it. Verstappen's had a... I called it. This is exactly what I said in Australia. Verstappen, there's pushing the parts are in the other side of the planet here. Drama here for Verstappen. What is this going to do for the championship standings? Huge moment in the championship. Verstappen's engine has gone. There is blue smoke. This is going to be a retirement for Max Verstappen, everyone. So for everyone who's woken up early, who's here with us, this is a huge moment. This is a huge moment here. Verstappen's engine has gone. That is it. That is going to be retirement for Verstappen. I think they preemptively changed his power unit. But it doesn't matter. Verstappen, I have smoke. Fire, fire, brake. My brake. Verstappen maybe fire in the cockpit or something there. So, as you can see, he's going to need to come into the pits. This is absolute disaster for Verstappen. And this, I don't want to say it blows the championship wide open. But this is the thing. Carlos Sainz not taking part in Saudi could really cost him here. Because if Carlos Sainz has got a decent result in Saudi, he would probably be provisionally there or thereabouts in the lead of the championship right now. So, who wants to win this race? Because Sergio Perez is all the way down in P6. Who fancies it? Funky says right brake. Was it right? Yeah, right rear on fire. It comes in, and the mechanics are extinguishing that. So was it the case of the wheel on fire rather than the engine? JJ, was he not on a run of consecutive wins? He was indeed. He was on a mad run of consecutive wins. Let's write. Does someone mind summarising that? And I'm going to put it here in the chat and then get back. See, people are going to wake up today like, what happened? This is crazy. Verstappen is out. Oh, God. Verstappen is out, everyone. He's out of the car as well. Helmet off. Ooh, dearie me. Dearie me. I told you. I don't want to say I told you so. But, yes, Verstappen is out. Okay, that'll do. They'll pin that. Oh, God, I almost put you in a timeout. So, what are we calling now? What are we calling now, everyone? So, yes, it's between the Ferrari... Because the Mercedes look pretty terrible here. Verstappen's not happy. He's angry at his engineer or something, tapping his head. Maybe it was a predictable thing. I wonder if it's the brake. If it was the brake or the wheel, if something had got stuck in there or something like that. I don't know. See, loved you, Australia. Yes, indeed. Maybe I love McLaren Ferrari, but I'm hoping this doesn't keep Max from getting his next week. We'll definitely be there next week. A lot of people are pitting early now. I don't know why that is. There's no safety car. So very early pit stops here from people presumably trying to go hard till the end. So Alex Albon and Guan Yu Zhou putting some pressure. That might essentially be a sort of undercut or put people under pressure in the midfield box. So interesting dynamic at the front where we've got Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri at the beginning. Everybody, thank God I woke up at 6 a.m. The early bird catches the Formula 1 worm. That's a saying. Max is out. Carl in the house as well saying drama. Yes, indeed. Jacko, I think a mechanic. I suspect. So I thought the engine, because it was blue smoke, but maybe the brake had been locked on or something. Wasn't Max complaining about the car being unstable? So maybe it was a error with the brake pad or the caliper or something being left or something getting stuck in the wheel. If you do hear about this, Wakantane, if you do hear about it, let me know. Chai was seeing it earlier. So yeah, if anyone hears about that, let me know. Kat says maybe Joss will take a swing at Horner. If you haven't seen my Red Bull drama video, then that explains the background of the whole Red Bull situation. So the Ferrari mechanics were delighted when Carlos Sainz made that overtake. Yeah, it was very localized. Now I'm looking at the pictures, very low. Oh, something came out of the wheel just as he came into the pits there from Max Verstappen. Something ejected itself from the rear right, and I'm a little bit. I guess that might be. Oh, and something exploded as he came into pit. Something literally exploded from the Red Bull. Goodness me! It was like a cannon from a galleon there. It looks like something had jammed itself in. Very dramatic pictures of that right rear disintegrating. Slightly surprised they didn't try to replace it, but maybe they just knew that it churned up the drive shaft or something. But it looks like a preventative issue there that has cost Max Verstappen essentially this GP. Brembo issues. The brake exploded. Maybe it just had got such high temperature, it literally exploded. By the way, there was a big ejection out of the side. I literally imagine like a cannon from a like a warship back in the 1800s. Having a look here, Charles Leclerc trying to get past Lando Norris. He did that as he was entering the pits where there was no personnel. If that had happened in the pit lane, I don't know whether it could have taken someone's legs out or something, but it was a big ejection. As we see more pit stops now, so Russell and Stroll and Bottas pitting. So I wonder if this is going to be a fairly steady one-stop race. Why did Hamilton pit? Well, obviously I think they just want to get onto the hard tyres. I'm surprised some people aren't going longer in case there's a safety car and getting a free pit stop here, but we will see. How does the Spanish anthem sound like? No idea. Jay saying his car should become undrivable for 3 to 4 races and be fun to see. What's up with Albon? Not sure, but Albon's in P14, so not too bad for Albon there. He's pitted. So I don't know if Bottas has been in the pits twice, by the way. I feel like Bottas may have pitted twice. Just not sure why that's happened. Paul says, best race ever. Yeah, this is the most exciting race Formula 1 has had for like ages. I'm actually here, yeah, there was a front left issue with Valtteri Bottas's car. Seem to remember, was it Kevin Magnussen or Grosjean that didn't get their tyre attached here a few years ago? Now, bigger interesting change here. So Leclerc and presumably Piastri have come in at the same time, as has Tsunoda and Ocon. Is that going to be a potential undercut on Norris? So is Leclerc going to undercut Lando Norris here? So Carlos Sainz saying, let's open the gap now then. The car feels very good to me. So Carlos Sainz liking it. Keep an eye on Lando Norris here because Charles Leclerc is basically going to try and undercut him. But unfortunately for Leclerc, he might have run into the traffic here of Pierre Gasly and Nico Hülkenberg. So this is going to be very exciting on pit exit. Carl saying Sainz is raised to lose. Lush, this is worth waking up early for. Yes, indeed. Tegan staying awake after a night out. What? I mean, yeah, Max Verstappen is out very dramatic scenes. And again, if anyone knows the any sort of late information on what went wrong with that rear right, I had mistakenly called it as an engine blowout, but yes, it was all localized in the rear right there. And, you know, if you're Max, you're very right to be upset about that. As I presume Lando Norris is going to pit now. I strongly presume he's going to pit, but he's decided not to. So again, I've called that strategy wrong. I thought Norris would pit, but maybe Norris is going to hold firm here. Sergio Perez continues on as well. More sim racing for Max. Yeah, it's the equivalent of Kimi going to the yacht. Max is going to the pit wall now. He's out of his overalls. Looking at a replay of Lewis Hamilton. What did Lewis Hamilton do coming into turn 1? Someone was coming out the pit, so you have a big lock-up? Yes, he did. So Lewis Hamilton cutting the corner at turn 1, just couldn't get it turned in there. Went across the grass a little bit, but no major harm done. But yeah, I mean, is that disastrous strategy for Charles Leclerc? Because he's ended up in this train with Gasly and Hülkenberg. Max Verstappen talking to GP now, trying to understand what went wrong. C saying Daniel Ricciardo is still driving poorly. Oh, Danny Rick. How long are they going to keep you in that car? But chat, what do we rate the strategy here by Ferrari to take Charles Leclerc out from the front of the grid and basically put him in insane traffic behind Pierre Gasly, Nico Hülkenberg? 5D strat or not? Well, it might be 5D strat because he's just got past Gasly. When is Lando going to pit? Is Lando boxing now? Is Lando boxing? Lando, what are you doing? Lando is not boxing. Lando's continuing on. But have a look at the gap between Lando, Norris and Charles Leclerc. Leclerc's also got past Hülkenberg. So Leclerc has now freed himself from that traffic. Not very wise. Science is not going up. Mick says the chat is alive. Honestly, we have the best chat here for Formula 1. We have the best chat. Best community. For me, it doesn't even feel like whatever AM it is. I should have put the blind up because I'm going to get... Light is going to come in. It's going to do me madness. Paul says Norris first win. This is arguably, since Sochi, this is the best chance that Lando's had to get that win. It's up for grabs, ladies and gentlemen. Who wants to win this GP? Yeah, good moves from Charles Leclerc to get past Gasly and Hülkenberg. Just looking at them now, the prediction is that Piastri is going to be well ahead of Lando Norris when Lando pits. So I can't remember what the order was there. Now Sainz is getting told we're going plan B, so maybe Sainz is going to go really, really, really long as Piastri goes up the inside of Nico Hülkenberg. So both Leclerc and Piastri have cleared that. Again, are we going to see Lando Norris? Have a look, by the way, at Fernando Alonso now circulating in P4. But presumably he will get jumped by not just Leclerc, Piastri, but also Russell, Stroll, Hamilton. We'll have to keep an eye on that. There's a gap between Hamilton and Alonso is the one to watch out for. What happened to Max? Max with a right rear blowout. Amy saying Lando is going to win. Let it happen, God. Amy has got the prayer beads out here for Lando. Well, what's the lap times like between Lando and Sainz? Not looking good for Lando because Carlos Sainz has been 7 tenths ahead. And keep an eye on Sergio Perez. By the way, Charles Leclerc, fastest man on track now. Charles Leclerc, a second faster than Lando. Max Verstappen talking to Christian Horner. Trying to understand what's happened here. But yeah, Max Verstappen is out. And a bit like we've seen in Formula E with Nick Cassidy having a big crash and retiring in Sao Paulo. Perez, I think we overdid it on this tyre. The grip is quite low from the rear. So the driver's going long on the mediums, not having the best time of it. It looks like the hard tyre is probably the tyre to generally be on. So in which case, why is Carlos Sainz staying out? What is the gap between Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc? What is the gap there? 24 seconds. Is that going to be enough? Francisca Sequeira Gomez. Not sure who she is, but she looks like she's really enjoying things, which is great to see. Only 6-7 likes. Come on, chat. We can get these likes up to 100 likes. We can do a lot better on the like front. We know we can do it. Today can be the day where we just absolutely crush it on the likes. Amy says Nico and Per being 7th and 8th. Yeah, Nico Hülkenberg, but bear in mind they have not pitted yet. They have not pitted, so that is a bit out of position. Will Hamilton win this Grand Prix? No. But I tell you what would be very interesting now, a safety car. A safety car right now would be, very, very, very spicy. A little bit of spice. Jacko saying Carlos Sainz still has fastest lap. That might have been the lap where he had the slip and overtook Max V. I'm still trying to process this. Verstappen out. I mean, yeah, he was on a great run of consecutive wins. I mean, people were saying earlier on in the season, like, oh, Verstappen's going to win all the races. And I was thinking, I'm not a betting person, but if I could have betted against that, I would have betted against it, because you got 24 races. Like, the chance of something going wrong is, like, over those races is quite meaningful. And something has gone wrong here. Lando Norris pits, by the way. So keep an eye on the Piastri versus Lando. Presumably Charles Leclerc is very easily going to get past Norris here, but let's see. Perez pits as well. Alonso doesn't. So keep an eye on Charles Leclerc versus it's going to be easy. Leclerc is easily going to get ahead. What about Piastri? I think Piastri... it's going to be tight between, but I reckon Piastri had that as well. Is that a long stop for Perez, or was Perez always that far behind? Well, Perez is going to come out behind Russell and behind Lance Stroll and battling with Hamilton. I feel like that hasn't gone super well for Perez there. Maybe there was an issue, or maybe they wanted to do a precautionary check of the same wheel where Verstappen had his issue. I'd love to see more pictures of what happened with Verstappen there with the tyre blowout. Or the wheel. It's a very quick stop for Lando. But yeah, Piastri, it shows you how effective that undercut was. And if these hards are going to easily last till the end of the race, then it's a great strategy for Charles Leclerc. Presumably, Carlos Sainz can now box quite comfortably, and he may come out behind his idol, Fernando Alonso. But other than that, he's pretty clear. As I'm looking at Lance Stroll was all over the back. Oh, no, sorry, it's Hamilton was all over the back of Perez as Perez came out of the pits, and Hamilton tried to go around the outside, but there was no luck doing. Hamilton, I think, valiantly trying to drive that car. That looks pretty damn undrivable, to be honest, which is interesting because in the first race in Bahrain, the Mercedes looked so stable, but it just has not translated through to Saudi and here in Australia, unfortunately, for Hamilton and Russell. As is that Gasly getting ahead of Russell? Did I look at that correctly? Did Gasly just get ahead of Russell even though Gasly hasn't boxed? Potentially, I'm going to try and have a look at that one for you. Paul says, State do another pit stop. Should we get the old sub count on? Hang on a second. Should we get the old sub counts? Where can I get that? 1 second, everyone. Let me try and find out how to resize this window. Bring it out. Don't know what's possible for us today. Ah, damn it. I always get this wrong. Oh, wait, what? Is it not? Is it not that one? We'll just get our stream stats up. How about that? How about that? We'll just get the old stream stats. Oh, no, hang on. What if I paste that in? Alright, maybe I can't do it. Maybe I cannot do it. Hang on. Oh, I did it. Okay, it does. It doesn't do it. You have to take it off and then it works. Alright. Fair enough. Now I know. Absolutely pro streamer chat here. Oh, what's happened here? Someone's just retiring as I speak. So Fernando, so Carlos, VSC. Someone's driving very slowly And it looks like a Mercedes. Oh, no, it's Lewis Hamilton from bad to worse. Lewis Hamilton is crawling along, pulls his car to where they potentially can recover it, but they might go full safety car here. So I think Carlos Sainz could have... Unfortunately, he's boxed just after VSC, so he could have gained quite a bit. Now, if there's going to be a safety car now, then Carlos Sainz would be behind Fernando Alonso, but presumably Alonso would jump straight in. In fact, Alonso has jumped in. So Alonso's going to benefit here from VSC. Yeah, exactly. Carl called it. Alonso gets to benefit. Is Alonso going to come out ahead of the Russell, Stroll, Perez? Look how badly Perez... Yes, he is. It's happened absolutely great for Alonso there. So what happened with Lewis Hamilton? Looks like he just lost power. Yeah, Hamilton just losing power. Chat, I keep saying it. Australia, something about it. Retirements, variability. They are going to roll that car back. They're going to roll it back. So there will be no safety car here. There's no safety car. In fact, virtual safety cars ended. And then you see Hulkenberg and Gasly box. But look how badly that's worked out for Gasly. Even under VSC... Gasly was so high up, and now he's gone all the way down to P15, so it's very competitive in that midfield, clearly. The race is amazing. Yeah, it's going to be a wild race. So VSC ending. What we have now, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember Singapore, it's a bit of a Singapore situation. Carlos Sainz versus Charles Leclerc, followed by Piastri, followed by Norris, and then incredibly, followed by the driver who's going to be on the freshest tyres, which is Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso on the freshest tyres. Ooh. Well, a safety car would have bunched things up really, but it's still very, very, very close. So who's got it between Sainz and Leclerc? Oh, we got a message deleted. Why is that message being deleted? Moderators. Why is the pinned message being deleted? There's no need to I've pinned it because I liked it. Please do let me know. Jay saying Mercedes finished. Nice call by Hamilton by leaving them. Snowline's got the papayas out. Yeah, DRS enabled. So are you a Ferrari fan or are you a McLaren fan? Because it's between these two teams who's going to win. This is huge for constructors. It's huge for drivers. No worries. Let's be easy on the old deletions. Let's be a bit Michael Massey. What happened here as... I don't know, it's a super old replay of when I think Norris came out of the pits. Not sure why that was super relevant. No idea why we're getting a massively old replay there. Thanks very much. Welcome to the new subscribers. Let me see if I find another Verstappen message. Max is out, OMG. Jared saying Sainz might get a championship shot. I mean, is it going to come down to that missed race? And you can see now why Carlos Sainz, people were saying, you know, Carlos, just wait till Japan. Don't overdo it with the odd appendix. But this is why. But Charles Leclerc, I wonder... Look, I've called some stuff right today. I wonder if the Ferraris are going to come together here. I wonder if the Ferraris are going to come together here and Oscar Piastri is going to win this race from McLaren. Let me know what you think. Smooth operator for today. Lewis, welcome to Max and Hamilton. 2 retirements. Matt can't wait for the McLaren merch to arrive. Boogie supporting McLaren. Bro rebounded from the appendix. Yeah, the old appendix rebound strat. That classic one. The old classic. Does Perez have a chance? Oh, you know what? If Perez gets it from here, it's like being 3-0 down in football, but bringing it all back. And you know what? Perez is 17 seconds behind. There's a long way to go in this race. If Perez can get past George Russell, because is Perez being held up by Russell here? Then we might add Perez into that equation. We might throw Perez into that. Cat, I wonder how many drivers have... Well, yeah, everyone's going to be having their appendix removed. Good luck. Mick Rent, what's the Ferrari 1-2 intervals? About 1.6 seconds at the moment. What do we think about my prediction there? Bao Quan says, no, please don't crash into each other, Ferrari. Should we update the name of the stream to say Verstappen Drama? Austin Group huge Verstappen Drama. Why not? Why not? What happened to Verstappen? Well, right rear blow. Has Perez got past now? Yes, Perez has got past George Russell. So, yeah, I don't know who said that, but correct. To keep like 5% of your attention on what Sergio Perez is doing right now, and he's just done the fastest Sector 2 out of anybody. Because Sergio Perez, if he were to win this, it would be one of the great comebacks of all time, I believe, from 17 seconds back. It's gone down to 18. So have a look at the lap times between Perez and Carlos Sainz. But if he starts going about half a second a lap quicker, you know, he was complaining about the tyres, but we'll see. What lap are we on? We're on lap 21 right now. And I wonder if a lot of it is going to come down to genuine... Having a look here of the Perez overtake, yeah. I wonder if it's going to come down to sort of tyre management right now. So Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, you don't want to go too early. You want to make sure you got your tyres in the window. So although we can't really feel the tyre management, it's not sort of, you know, super exciting to watch pictures of. That may be what's actually happening right now, is that everyone is trying to keep their tyres in the window. This is why Mercedes invented that DAS system that was banned. Tanner says, driver of the day to Perez if he manages a podium. I think if Perez can catch Lando Norris, all bets are off here. Absolutely all bets are off. Remember, Perez has finished second in both of the races so far this season. So on face of it, Perez is the form driver right now, and you can see how much he's gapping George Russell. What's the gap compared? Oh, Carlos Sainz, well, 121.4. So having said all that, Carlos Sainz is extending the gap from Perez. So, but Perez going quite a bit quicker than Alonso. Russell saying that car is like a rocket ship. He's just watching Perez drive away from him. Jaden says Ferrari will probably want Charles in first for the championship. Yeah, do we know? Are we expecting another pit stop here? Are we expecting another pit stop, chat? Let me know. Yeah, there's 58 laps in total. Pranel's a lucky day for all other drivers. Yes, indeed. It is a lucky day right now. It wasn't 1.6, it was 6/10. Sergio Perez took 6/10 out of Fernando Alonso that lap. But keep an eye on Perez and the gap to... I mean, the gap to the leaders is staying pretty similar. It looks like Carlos Sainz is turning the wick. 21.4 last lap around. What's it going to be this time? 21.5, very similar. Charles Leclerc with 21.7 to 21.9. So Carlos Sainz trying to show who's boss here. And remember, Carlos Sainz is a driver that has been dropped by Ferrari. So the dynamic here is very interesting. Because what if Carlos Sainz starts to take a stranglehold here? But he missed the previous race. So he really will want to get that win, not just because he wants to win, obviously, that, you know, that goes without saying, but the big points advantage you get for winning, those additional 5-6 points fastest lap, are genuine game changers to Carlos Sainz. Session sup, Kireth, cheers from CA. Off topic, saw your video of your Max 9 rating, like, note my line. Yeah, not taking any nonsense. Hulkenberg getting told to swap the positions. So, that's a continuation of the story from last week. But I'm not sure whether Hulkenberg has complied. It looks like I did see a swap, as I believe they're still parts of Max's brake on the track. And now I'm having a look at a replay of Max walking down somewhere with his PR lady. He's having to take a break from posting stupid memes to trying to control what Max is going to say. Max walking around with event security around the back of the paddock. Kieran saying Hamilton should never have got that Ferrari seat. If you're Ferrari right now, who would you rather have in that seat? Carlos Sainz or Lewis Hamilton? It's a bit of a madness that we've talked a lot about on the podcast. So Lewis saying pit should be expected. Okay. David saying wheel on fire. Yep, that classic. So Sergio Perez is dropping off slightly from the insane pace that Carlos Sainz, who's just gone slightly faster than his previous best. But Sergio Perez at this rate is going to catch up Fernando Alonso very quickly. And Sergio Perez is in that annoying sort of window where the top four can't box and come out ahead of him. So Sergio Perez could force the issue here. Ibrahim says, read my comment, bro. I can't see it, my friend. I'm afraid. No need to delete those, though. I can try and read them. Matt, if McLaren podiums, is it going to be Piastri or Norris? I think Piastri here, home GP, but I also, at the moment, I just rate Piastri a little bit more than Lando Norris. In fact, is Piastri catching Charles Leclerc? Yes. Oh my goodness, 21.2 for Carlos Sainz there. But is Charles Leclerc playing the long game? Is he playing the 5D chess and keeping his tyres in the window? David Joe has identified that the race is now open. The race is now open, confirmed. By the way, the subscriptions are also open. If you want to try to get to 83,000 subscribers today and you're watching and you're not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button. I would personally really appreciate it. Just an independent stream here. It's just me. So if we can make some headway there, that will be insane and very much appreciated. Tell you who else is making headway is Carlos Sainz at 21.2, blisteringly quick when you compare it to the rest of the field. That was 1.5 seconds quicker than Fernando Alonso. A genuine 1.5 seconds quicker. Amrit, what happened to Verstappen and Lewis? Retirements for both. Retirements for both, yes indeed. See, Verstappen's car is picking up on the transponder. Are they going to do a Sergio Perez in Japan and just send him out again? Well, definitely not, because Verstappen's gone walkabout. Look how close Perez already is to Alonso. Perez is now within, it would be within the DRS. Surely Perez won't be able to get this done in the first DRS over the straight. The post-dependence pace, aka the PAP, yes. Yes. So Perez not going to get it done there, but he's still within DRS. As Carlos Sainz again, but Charles Leclerc but I mean, look at the gap now. No, he didn't pick. Carlos Sainz going a second quicker than Charles Leclerc. I've said it from, if you've been watching this stream for, you know, a long time now, I've been saying Carlos Sainz has that dog in him. And I just think here, Carlos Sainz doesn't even have a drive in Formula 1 next season. We've seen some crazy stuff in Formula 1, like Sergio Perez being out of a seat and then getting the Red Bull seat. Carlos Sainz back to Red Bull for next season. What do we think about that? Is that the obvious move? Tanya says, what is Carlos doing? Bro is fire. And he is a dog. Yeah, I mean, Carlos Sainz, he no longer has the appendix in him, but he certainly has that dog in him. And I can't wait to see what lap time this is going to be from Carlos Sainz, to be honest. 21 dead to beat. Surely he's not going to go faster. 21.4 this time. It's a cool down lap. Meanwhile, Sergio Perez has gone past Alfonso. So Perez is on the loose now. Although he's 20 seconds behind, I reckon those McLarens have got to watch out, because Sergio Perez, with half of this race still to go, is probably going to be trying to go for that podium at the very least. Again, fast sector 2 for Sergio Perez. So keep an eye on the lap times between Perez and the McLarens. He took 7/10 out of Piastri last lap. So at that rate, he will very easily get there. Why does it feel like 2022 again? I don't know, because it is 2024. Welcome Kate Uj in the house. Yeah, to be clear, Max is not going to get back in the car. Alex Albon pits early, so there we go. Albon, one of the first drivers to the second start. I mean, Valtteri Bottas has technically pitted twice, but that wasn't really in regulation. So Albon goes early, and that might put pressure up the inside. I'm going to have a look at Sergio Perez's overtake on Fernando Alonso here. Very similar overtake to the one that Carlos Sainz did on Max Verstappen. Just Perez was able to go up the inside. So a little bit more pro forma there from Perez. Jacko saying 13 seconds to podium for Perez. Yeah, keep us updated, Jacko, on that. Because Sergio Perez, I reckon, is probably... Oh, well, it wasn't a quick lap for Perez that time. It was not a quick lap for Perez. In fact, he's allowed Fernando Alonso back in the slipstream. Alonso's done his best lap of the race. So, not sure what happened there. But again, Carlos Sainz is just... Is he driving half a second better than Charles Leclerc? Or is he just managing the pace? Welcome Sniper, Sarah and Pigeon in the house. Sesha says giving up to Yuki. Oh, Yuki P9, I wouldn't... maybe. Let's see. He's not that far off George Russell, so yeah, potentially. Potentially. So is anyone going to pit from that front group? Is someone like... I reckon if anyone's going to pit, it's going to be Charles Leclerc. But Leclerc, that's going to put you behind that Perez-Alonso battle, I think, isn't it? So... Ugh. Carlos Sainz could pit and come out ahead of Sergio Perez. If they're definitely going to do the two-stopper. But we'll have to keep an eye on that. Tanner says Oscar sacrificed. So has that been a team order thing there? Because Norris getting past Piastri. Chat, Norris is now past Oscar Piastri. And see there, Perez again is not really getting that far ahead of Fernando Alonso. Again, Alonso doing a faster lap and his fastest lap of the race, catching up with Perez. But what's happened here? Norris past Piastri. Was that a team orders thing? Because if I'm Piastri, I'm fuming about that. I'm throwing toys out of the proverbial pram. Carlos starting his villain arc. I like, you know, as soon as Carlos started growing out his hair, I remember people talk about the Max Joss dynamic, and I've made a video on that, came out yesterday or day before, on all the Red Bull, the web of Red Bull, Max and Joss. Don't forget about the Carlos Sainz Jr., Carlos Sainz Sr. dynamic. There's a lot of power there. As Ricciardo boxes and comes out just behind Esteban Ocon, I think, and look at Guan Yu Zhou, who must have boxed as well. Possibly, no, he hasn't. I think he just stayed out. Are any of the front runners going to box? If I'm Piastri now, give Piastri another undercut. Bow, I think Leclerc is saving his tyre because he pitted early. Yeah, Lando. Okay, Lando. Oh, there's a radio message that I've missed. Apologies. But I'm not sure about that strategy there. And again, Sergio Perez, has he overcooked the tyres in getting past Fernando Alonso? Because again, Alonso is a little bit faster than Sergio Perez. Louis say big mistake pitting Oscar on lap 9. Yeah, there were a couple of cars that pitted really early. Wasn't it Leclerc and Piastri went really early, so maybe they need to box earlier this time. Whereas Carlos Sainz was able to go... Carlos Sainz was pretty much one of the last cars to box, I believe. 142 likes here. Come on, chat. We can get to 200 likes, and maybe we can get to 83,000 subscribers. So if you're not liked, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. Yeah, Perez not gaining at the moment. We'll keep an eye on that. And is Charles Leclerc really falling back into the clutch of Lando Norris? So Norris has been released here. And is he actually going to catch Charles Leclerc? You can see some of the tyre life there. Yeah, but if I'm Carlos Sainz, I want my dad, who has lots of connections with Red Bull, to get me that Red Bull seat, I reckon. And, you know, Carlos Sainz, let's not forget, was a Red Bull Junior driver and drove for Toro Rosso. A lot of people forget that. In fact, I think Carlos Sainz pretty much came in with Max Verstappen. So maybe we'll do a video where we'll compare their junior performance comparisons. Gerard, sending Norris to clear Perez or give the place back. Yeah, well, let's see what's going to happen. And maybe do we think a bit of 5D chess from Piastri there? Where Piastri can just sort of sit and conserve the tyres? Let me know. I want to see Max and Carlos. No need to delete those messages, mods. We can let the messages be free. Unless I'm missing something. We can free the messages. Yes, can be no F1 podcast with Verstappen this week. So, anyone in the midfield pitting? No, they are not. Fernando Alonso is, well, doing a lot better than Carlos Sainz, Lance Stroll. But remember, Alonso had the benefit of that VSC pit. And it looks like Charles Leclerc is now really falling back in the clutches of Lando Norris. And Carlos Sainz can box and come out ahead of Perez and Alonso. Perez just has not been able to clear Alonso. I wonder if we're going to see Alonso dramatically come back and try and get past Perez. Jaden, can't believe I can't watch the race on ESPN. I'm not sure why you can't watch on ESPN. Carl wants some ice cream. Yeah, people in the stands having some ice cream there. Alonso not coming back at Perez, but he's close. George Russell absolutely nowhere. And we're going to see Carlos Sainz come through the traffic now here at Albert Park. Starting with Daniel Ricciardo, who's having a terrible time again. I just think Ricciardo is just utterly washed right now and almost needs to be put out of his misery, to be honest. Welcome, Kenneth McGregor. Welcome, Say Harris. And Yana says, if Max and Carlos get together, we can all say no one is stopping Red Bull. Yes, indeed. 1.1k likes. It's a target. You can aim for it. Lisa saying the only thing that can stop Max is his car. Yeah, did someone any sabotage conspiracy theories already? Did they exist? Sabotage conspiracy theory? Tanya says, play that Spanish anthem already. Get that anthem out. Get the anthem out for the lads. Well, we'll see. Anything can happen here. There's going to be a lot of traffic for Carlos Sainz to deal with. And like I said, you know, a little bit over halfway now. But is Charles Leclerc doing a masterclass on the tyres? You'd have to think that Carlos Sainz is not half a second quicker than Charles Leclerc in race pace here. But we just don't know. We just don't know. Yes, welcome indeed to News Stars. On to Verstappen. Verstappen's had a complete failure. His car was on fire. Gerard saying Ricciardo's pitted to go to the end. Okay, that's why he's at the back. So he's already pitted. But who's he gonna overtake? Because Albon's pitted already. He's not going to get past Gasly or Guan Yu Zhou. So I just don't see it getting better for Daniel Ricciardo as I see it. What gap is Norris Leclerc? You can see there in the gap, my friends. Lewis saying Carlos Sainz is that guy. Well, we're going to find out as K-Mag goes in the pits there. So where's Magson going to come out? Carlos Sainz very close now to Ricciardo. 21.4. Anyone else in the 21s? No. Esteban Ocon and Ricciardo. I mean, I'm laughing at Ricciardo there, but his pace is quicker than a lot of drivers ahead of him. Lando Norris that time was in the 21s, taking about 3/10 out of Charles Leclerc, who boxes. Charles Leclerc boxes here. So, this is going to be interesting. Is it essentially an undercut? Leclerc was on the road saying, my tyre has gone front left. I think we cannot wait too much. So, Ferrari, at least with Charles Leclerc, suffering with deg. And that means Leclerc is going to come out disastrously, I think, behind Perez and Alonso. Unless, oh my goodness me, I need to look at this on the pictures and let you know what's gone on. Has Leclerc just stayed ahead of Perez? Because if he has, all credit to the Ferrari lads in the pit stop. I'm having a look here. Charles Leclerc came in for hard tyres. Did he lock up on the pit entry? No, he didn't, but he was giving it absolutely everything. Every thousandth of a second counts in this pit stop as he came in. Apologies. and the wheels came off, wheels came on. It was a quick start for Leclerc. What was it? A 2 point? Can't see, not getting the timing. And as he came out, it was 2.1, so pretty much quick as they can go. Sergio Perez would have been trying to get past him. Oh, and Charles Leclerc just completely blocked Perez. High risk manoeuvre there. Could have been contact. And then Leclerc just got the drive down. Sergio Perez tried to send it, but again, Charles Leclerc went very defensive. Smart driving there from Charles Leclerc, who critically has stayed ahead of Sergio Perez, who I think will return to his normal service or trying to deal with Alonso. So great stuff there from the Ferrari mechanics to get Leclerc out ahead of Alonso and Perez. That might save Charles Leclerc from getting a podium here. Tina saying this is crazy. Yes, indeed. Tanner says, enjoy this one. This might be one of the most entertaining races of the season. It's a very good point, Tanner. It's a very good point. Where can you watch the race in the US? Surely you can watch this race in the US, everyone. Mark, let Lawson replace Ricciardo after summer break even soon. Let's see. As the Red Bull mechanics are sort of loitering. Yes, and that's why, because Sergio Perez has come in now. So Perez are coming. Hulkenberg's in as well. Guan Yu Zhou's in. So Sergio Perez, the pressure's now on Alonso. Remember, Alonso went very long in his first stint, didn't he? So maybe Alonso will go long again. So is Charles Leclerc putting Piastri under pressure here? I'm surprised that Piastri's not pitting. How can you see the Ponce? Who's the Ponce? Conflicting messaging whether this race is on ESPN Plus or not. Can we get a clear answer on that? ESPN fans. Welcome, Lounsdy. Just got back home. What happened to Hamilton, Verstappen? Retirements for both. Retirements for both. Yeah, I am in touch with Formula 1 about trying to do some stuff with the watch-alongs like we do with Formula E. So it's just about getting through to the right people. But I'm literally speaking with people there. They are speaking with me. Okay, where are we? How many laps to go? 22 laps to go. Look at the Hulkenberg battle just getting out ahead of Alex Albon, clearly. So that's good news for the Hulk. Cat Martin, at the start of the race, the right rear brake just stuck on. It was like driving the handbrake on. I wonder, in hindsight, whether they could have pulled him off the formation lap. It would have been very dramatic. But as we've seen in Spa previously, Verstappen can go from the back. But one of those ones where Verstappen might have been like, this feels funny, and they might have said, well, the data looks okay, telemetry looks okay, and then Verstappen's been proven right. ESPN 2. You have to flick over to ESPN 2. Valtteri Bottas pits for the 100th time this race, and he will be lapped. Guan Yu Zhou's already been lapped. And I think Daniel Ricciardo has been lapped as well. So let's have a look at the lap times here. So Lando Norris is now driving faster than Carlos Sainz, and the gap is 9.6 seconds. So it is all to play for. It's genuinely all to play for the lead of this Grand Prix here. Look how far back Sergio Perez is right now, but Charles Leclerc, you can see that's actually very dramatic there, because Charles Leclerc is miles ahead of Sergio Perez. But remember, Charles Leclerc was really right at the front of the Grand Prix, a few seconds behind Carlos Sainz before Carlos Sainz started turning the wick. But now it's Charles Leclerc turning the wick, because he's on the 20.6. And that, my friends, is, well, 1.3 seconds than Carlos Sainz. So will we see Carlos Sainz box anytime soon? That will put him behind the McLarens. Will he hold station for the McLaren? So Charles Leclerc could be really benefiting here, because Carlos Sainz is essentially pinned. Sainz can't really pit until the McLaren's pit, although it looks like Piastri's going to box, unless he's had an issue. Don't know why Piastri's dropping off so significantly from Lando Norris there. Was that a mistake from Piastri? Jaden saying Ferrari having the time of their life. Shashank saying go Russell. And Cat's hoping for McTire Day. That makes me hungry for McDonald's. I'm definitely going to have a McDonald's breakfast today. I'm having it. I'm loving it. I'm having it. is not sponsored by McDonald's, but I would actually, would that be bad from a fast food? They do in NASCAR. I'd love to run McDonald's sponsorship. That'd be great. What would be one a sponsorship and like you had a code you could get like half price breakfast or something? Looking at Valtteri Bottas coming in again. And it looked like a standard stop there, so not sure what the issue was. I think he had an issue last time with the front left. But yeah, I mean, look at the gaps now. I mean, Carlos Sainz is going to be seconds clear of Leclerc when he boxes. When that is, I don't know. He might want to box before the thing. I don't know why we keep looking at a pit stop of Valtteri Bottas there in slow motion. I'm not aware that anything unusual particularly had happened. Sponsorship with McLaren and Morrison. Yeah, this stream is completely unsponsored. Like, I make no money from the stream apart from the YouTube adverts and any very generous donations or memberships. Looking here, this must have been the mistake that Piastri had. Yeah, big lock-up in the corner just for the pits and actually went on the grass. That's why he was so slow. Almost ended up going into the pits by mistake. So that was a mistake from Piastri, and now he boxes. And unfortunately, that's going to probably give some clear air between... Well, hang on. Well, you're getting clear air between Norris. He's still going to get out ahead of Alonso, is he, or is he not? Oh, no, Oscar Piastri, your mistake has let Fernando Alonso get ahead of you. But have a look at the gap between Sergio Perez and Piastri. They've both pitted, but it's a big old gap now between Perez and Piastri. I just feel like Perez has sort of lost out here all that time behind Fernando Alonso. See, he's a Red Bull fan, still loving the race. Bow, will Alonso get past Piastri? It was happened. You called it, my friend. Jacko noting 17 seconds between Leclerc and Nortis. Welcome, Warden, Mod, Jadwas, Zico, Crizzle, and Forever. If you are enjoying the stream, please do subscribe. See, the subscriber numbers increasing. We might get to 83,000 today, which would be absolutely insane. And then we're making massive progress. Lando Norris got the call to box. So Norris has... But I don't... Yeah, he has boxed. He's boxing now as we speak. So we got the call and he's boxed. So keep an eye on the gap between Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. I'd expect Leclerc to overtake Norris here. I didn't look at the gap. I'd be very surprised if that's not the case. So Norris on pit exit. Charles Leclerc, I think, is going to get past quite comfortably. Yes, indeed. So the main gap here now is Norris is completely clear air ahead of Piastri. And in fact, Sergio Perez is behind George Russell, but George Russell does need to pit again. And Fernando will... Well, they don't need to, because they've already pitted once, but we expect Russell... And it was absolute carnage in the McLaren shop, by the way. People still putting on their helmets. They were flinging tyres about. They obviously leave it late in the day, like I do when I start streaming. Matt, why are both boxing at the same time? Who are you looking at there, both boxing at the same time? JLCC, why is Hamilton so far behind? I've got some bad news for you there if you're a Hamilton fan. Jaden's saying Charles might have a good chance of winning. And Gerard Piastri should have potted when he went off. Good point. Right, here comes Carlos Sainz in the box. So Carlos Sainz doing his second and perhaps last pit of the race. How far is he going to be ahead of Charles Leclerc? Carlos Sainz has this race on lock right now. I really struggle to see how Charles Leclerc is not going to win this race unless there's a safety car. Because even with Deg, he's in a better position than Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz is putting an absolute smooth operator masterclass here. Even though Leclerc is dropping fastest laps like nobody's business. So the gap is 8 seconds. Chat, let me know now in the chat. 209 likes as well. Let me know, who do you think is going to win this Grand Prix? Because we very clearly have a top 3 now with 17 laps to go. Still 17 laps to go in what has been an attritional Grand Prix. As Fernando Alonso pits, he'll go into no man's land basically. Might be interesting between Russell. Be interesting when Russell pits if he'll come out ahead of Alonso. Lando, how many laps can one of these cars go before we need to pit? Depends on the tyres, my friend. Paul saying Norris, Cat Science, Chinese person there saying Science, Deadpool Science, Lewis Science, Jacko Science, Tina Science, Jaden Charles, Chaya Science, Ended Science, Samuel Science, Shashank, Russell, Matt Sainz, Armand Sainz. Hey, Amy saying Norris or Piastri. That's the papaya. Once a papaya, always a papaya. It's Gasly pits. I think Carlos Sainz has got this one. I think Carlos Sainz has it. But yeah, we are going to see a non-Red Bull finish. If you're Ferrari right now, okay, I'm having a look here with Piastri. Is it going to be a replay of his error, perhaps? If you're Ferrari right now, okay, I want to talk big brain strategy. Vlak saying science. Let's talk some big brain strategies. We've got some big brains in the chat here. Carlos Sainz has missed 5% of the races this season. Or like he will have missed at least 5%. So from a Ferrari and you fired him. I don't know what's more important. Surely Ferrari really, in their deepest hearts of hearts, want Charles Leclerc to win this race. What if Ferrari pull the ultimate team orders? We're going back to Schumacher days. This would be the biggest team order call in history, I think. Do we think Ferrari are going to ask Carlos Sainz to let Charles Leclerc through? Let me know in the chat, everyone. Jacko says yes for points. Leclerc must win. Kat saying you keep it aside Leclerc for best shot at World Constructors Championship. World Drivers ain't happening. Well, if Charles Leclerc was to win this race, how would the championship look? Can anyone do the quick maths on that? How would the championship look if Charles Leclerc were to win it? People saying Carlos wouldn't listen. But then you can... Oh, God. What would I do as team principal? What would I do right now in this situation? It's early days in the championship, but imagine if it comes down to it. I guess whoever made that point is a good point. For constructors, it doesn't really affect it for constructors. And when you got a 1-2, maybe you don't want to rock the boat when you got a 1-2, but Jeffrey says let them race. Kat says Verstappen's car isn't exploding every race. Well, we'll see. Was it sabotage? Flatka says I would ignore the call. Artima, how fast are they going? They drive very fast, up to about 200 miles an hour, these cars. Does Norris have a chance? Well, as has been identified, Oscar Piastri has gone fastest. Ooh. Yeah, boy. Keep an eye on the gap. Chat, the gap is only 5 seconds at the top. Oh, this actually could get very spicy. This could get very spicy at the top. 14 laps to go. If Carlos Sainz loses about 3/10 a lap over 15 laps, there's a pit lane infringement for Bottas. Obviously, something had happened there that I hadn't quite seen. Sainz should refuse. Let's keep the language clean, everyone. There's no need for this language this time on a Sunday morning. How's it worked out for Williams with their controversial? That'll be the least controversial news of the weekend now. But if Albon can get in the points, then you know maybe that will have been justified in hindsight. Piastri flying. People are knowing that Oscar Piastri is literally levitating right now. W. Kung, how much does Oscar really want that home podium? I don't know. We'll find out. Louis saying he's burning the tyres, and maybe he just knows he's faster. Maybe he knows he's got that speed. Jacko says they will let Leclerc win. He's 23 points behind Max, so you know he can get an extra. What is it? Is it an extra 5 points he'll get? Will they decide to get him an extra 5 points? But Carlos Sainz says no, and there's a 120.2. So Carlos Sainz is having none of it. Meanwhile, Sergio Perez, absolutely washed, surely. I'm having a look here, replay of Verstappen. maybe the fact Carlos Sainz putting so much pressure, Verstappen overdrove it, and if he'd just been able to bring it back to the pits, they could have potentially sorted that out, but it was not to be the case. Fortunately for him, it was just after he'd crossed the start-finish line did the smoke start appearing from that right rear, and yeah, exploded in the pit lane, was on fire as it came in, and there's carbon fibre and stuff shredded everywhere. So not one I think that could have worked for them. As George Russell came into the pits, by the way, and came out behind Alonso. Sanjay Sainz will give a rat's ass to give the podium to Leclerc. Well, we will see. He is gainfully employed by Ferrari. So, you know, kind of got to do... Oh, Lando Norris at 119.9. Maybe Lando's going to have a say here. Lando Norris just gone basically a second quicker than Charles Leclerc. He's only 4 seconds behind. There's 12 laps to go. Keep an eye. That's what I'm going to say. Christopher, they should have just Albon, Perez and Verstappen when Max went out. Yeah, Verstappen will still lead the championship, a bit like Nick Cassidy in Formula E still leads the championship, even though he retired in Sao Paulo. It's just it's crazy how you can just accumulate those points and still be ahead so early on, even if you have a massive DNF. Yeah, Sainz is doing it's a big job interview for Sainz, isn't it? Every race he can go to. Who wouldn't want to sign? Imagine Carlos Sainz is the only non-Red Bull race winner this season. Like, wouldn't it be absurd for him to not have a seat? You know, how can it be that Logan Sargent has a seat in Formula 1, but Carlos Sainz doesn't? It just happened. Yeah, does anyone know if Verstappen's on iRacing right now? He's just had enough. Anyway, I think I'd be annoyed about the streak ending and whatnot, but ultimately, what happened today is not really his fault. Unless, I mean, that's the thing there. When you're high performance, you're like, oh, I should have felt it earlier. I should have, you know, spotted it on the formation lap and said to the team, let's sort it out. So it's what happens in a high performance world. It's a lot of accountability and everyone thinking, how can we improve? Yeah, Verstappen did not look happy, everyone. 221 likes, by the way. So please do hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed as well, as there's 11 laps to go. And I wonder if the dynamic here is, can Norris catch Charles Leclerc? I'm looking at a replay here with Leclerc. Was it a mistake from Leclerc? Not sure what I was meant to be looking at there. He was very close to the wall, but everyone's close to the wall. 10 centimetres is a chasm in Formula 1 terms, but Amazon were very excited about it. Sammy says it's not Max's fault, honestly. Yes, slap the old like button, if you don't mind. Carlos Sainz with the fastest Sector 3 out of anybody there. Carlos Sainz is turning it. Let's go Norris. Yeah, this has been the most exciting Grand Prix for, I think, since Singapore last year. So, people are going to wake up regretting not being where you are now, which is following it. So you can feel good. I'm going to sneeze. I'm going to sneeze. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. Carlando podium. Right now, Carlos Sainz can just manage this pace, but he's going mad ones. Pierre Gasly's got a penalty. Not sure what for. Hulkenberg in the points here, but Albon will want to get past Magnussen, but he can't do it. Tsunoda as well. Tsunoda consistently outperforming Daniel Ricciardo, which is not good if you're Daniel Ricciardo. George Russell might... Why am I sneezing so much? George Russell might want to get past Fernando Alonso here. Regretting not being part of this epic community. Well, we've all... I mean, it was just madness when Verstappen. It happened so early on. Then Hamilton as well. I mean, even just Carlos Sainz overtaking Verstappen was a bit of a madness. And now I just wonder whether we'll get some team orders, or Lando Norris. Maybe Ferrari can't risk team orders at this stage because Lando is on it, taking another couple of tenths out of Charles Leclerc. Remember, he just needs to get within a second and he'll get DRS. Bring Lawson and replace Ricciardo, we'll see. What about Japan, where Liam Lawson, very familiar, having driven in Super Formula and raced in Japan previously, done quite well. The gap between Sainz and Leclerc is 5.1. Yeah, but I think it's really the gap between Leclerc and Norris that is the one you want to watch out for, in my opinion, as it goes under 4 seconds. So 3 seconds till DRS. Does Leclerc have an issue here? Does Leclerc have an issue? I wonder. Again, maybe Leclerc has burnt the tyres up. Why does this race feel like a scenario breaking? But what did Gasly do? Did he cross the white line on exit? Yeah, I think he just randomly crossed the right line out of exit. Really stupid thing to do. So, amateur mistake there from Pierre Gasly. Welcome Sanjay, Kim, Alex C as well. Do you guys think Daniel will leave F1? I think Daniel's done from F1. I think Daniel should do NASCAR or IndyCar. I think Daniel Ricciardo would be great in IndyCar. So, can go to the washed land. Yeah, make sure you're watching live, by the way. Hit that live button. Although, if you're not watching live, you're going to hear this now when you're not live and it won't help. But you write in the chat there, the chat's always live. There's no way to unlive the chat. So, with 8 laps to go, the gap is exactly 4 seconds between Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris, who currently has the fastest lap of the race. Michael says, we don't want Ricciardo, and you say, well, what's that? What's this? What have you got against Daniel Ricciardo, my friend? What do you have against Ricciardo? The stream is not delayed, I can assure you. The stream is like as live as you can get. But we're going to see the smooth operator here smoothly operate himself to a podium, which is very exciting. And Yana says, if Carlos wins, then this is going to be epic. He deserves better. Yeah, lap 51 at the moment. Keep an eye on Charles Leclerc. Is he just managing that gap now to Lando Norris? So we will see McLaren on the podium. And this has really been the story of the championship so far, which is you have Max Verstappen out front, except he's retired now. Then you have the Ferraris. Then you have the McLarens. And then you sort of have Perez, Mercedes, Aston Martins, and then you have the rest of the midfield. So interesting to follow that and see how it developed. Yeah, we're ahead of the F1 broadcast. Matt's got the race on the big screen, this on the laptop, and Norris camera. That's awesome. Put a screenshot on the in the Discord of that, or photo. So how do you do that? Because you're using all your devices. You don't have a free camera. It's madness. Zoe says, come on, Checo. Christopher, do you think Red Bull can sign Carlos? I think Red Bull will sign Carlos, and it's something that we'll talk about in the F1 podcast. That will go out probably on Tuesday. So make sure you're subscribed if you want to see the F1 podcast. Is there a chance to get to 83k? I think we're up against it. Potentially. But I'm happy that we're here, chat. I'm happy that... I just had a feeling about this race. Like, I couldn't explain it. If you look at my tweet, I said I don't think Max is going to win this race. There's something in my waters, proverbially, that I was like, this is going to be a bit of a mad one, and I want to be there. Smooth appendix operation. OP appendix strap. Is it tenable to keep... I mean, it sounds harsh because he's done P2 in first 2 races, but do you ironically put Ricciardo there and promote Liam Lawson to the RB Cash App? I don't know. The dynamics are very interesting. By the way, I've got some exciting news. 1,600 people watching. I'm going to be at Formula E Misano with Misano, and I'm going to be doing a watch with Formula E. I'm going to be doing a watch along live at the track. So it's going to look like this. We're going to be live at the track. So please, please, please do join us. It's going to be very exciting. It's a culmination of a lot of what we talked about last year with these streams, and that's all booked in now. I'm going to be at Misano in Italy for those rounds, doing a lot of interviews, being on the grid as well. So I'm super excited for that, and that's a really exciting thing for this channel. So I really hope you'll join us. Good to hear, Artemis says in caps. Yes, good for you. That sounds very sarcastic. Paul Sainz is lighter. Yes, it is. George Russell, meanwhile, can he get past Fernando Alonso here? Looks like he's going to try. And Carlos Sainz is now going to hit that traffic. Do you reckon he might just want to sort of not have to deal with it? We will find out. Carlos Sainz, by the way, is the most successful driver in Formula 1 after Max Verstappen in recent times. This will be his second win. So Carlos Sainz will become, if he holds on to this, the only driver to have won in both the 2023 and 2024 seasons. That's not OPSECSECURITY, that's just my brain. And yet he's been fired. Madness. Did they need Lewis Hamilton? It's a fascinating move, that one. It's a fascinating move. I feel like it's a great move for Hamilton because Hamilton's got nothing to lose. But Ferrari, it feels like Ferrari have a lot to lose. Sainz for Mercedes. Christopher Haas has been surprising this year. They have been. They're a write-off, but it turns out Alpine have been the write-offs. So Carlos Sainz has got past Ricciardo. He's now going to be getting past Albon. Not sure how many warnings Leclerc has, but what I will say is that the gap is still about... Oh, no, it isn't. The gap is only 2.7 seconds. The gap has really come down between Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris. Keep an eye on that gap. Alonso, yeah, he's been perpetually under attack, to be honest. Let's get... Yeah, you can all... Permission for you all to play Smooth Operator after the race. Daniel Ricciardo's not out, but he's just been lapped. Have we enjoyed the race today, everyone? That's the most important thing. Have we enjoyed it? For those people, it's an early start or a late start. Has it been an enjoyable experience? Ferrari stock price is up. Yeah, well, that's what we talked about on the podcast. We need a name for the podcast. I don't think F1 Breaking News Show is a exciting name. Called like the Formula 1 Blokes or like Formula Chat or I don't know, something like that. We'll know when the name is right. 2.5 now. So basically 1.5 seconds for Lando Norris to get in the DRS. Thanks, Jeffrey. Kat says, yes, an entertaining race. Entertaining all the way to Las Vegas, the capital of entertainment. Chai always enjoy the race through streaming, so we'll be with... it's Formula E in Tokyo next weekend. I don't know how early that's going to be, but we could do that. Then it's going to be Suzuka. And then I don't know, it might be Misano. Misano, I think, is on the 14th or the 15th of April. So we'll be at Misano. I'm super excited for it. It's been an intense weekend for me. Like I said, I had to be in hospital yesterday. Not for me, but just looking after someone else. So it's been a really relaxing stream again. Wonder if we need to update any of the elements here, but it's a really awesome community that we have. 3 laps to go. Look how far behind Sergio Perez is right now. Long way behind. And 2.3 seconds is a gap between Charles Leclerc and Norris. Where's Ricciardo in the Minardi? He's been lapped. Thanks, Diasa, Polka, Estelle, and Frosty Bulls in the house. Learjet saying Science Driver of the Day. I think it needs to be. I mean, is it even worth doing a poll? Is anyone not going to vote? Should we do it like that, like they do in politics sometimes, where it's like, is anyone actually not going to vote against this? Anyone not voting for Carlos Sainz? SOL, if Sainz wins his GP, this will be a slap to Ferrari. Be a big old slap in the face there. Do you reckon they'll have an option where they don't have to sign Hamilton? Hamilton needs to start out driving that car. He needs to start beating George Russell, basically. But you can see now Russell struggling to get past Alonso. As Charles Leclerc gets to fastest lap of the race 2 laps to go. Are we going to see Leclerc go after Sainz here? Has he had it in the bag? Christopher saying vote Logan. I see what you did there. David Joe Clock says, well worth the early morning. Tanya, Leclerc cooking. Yeah, suspicious level of cooking going on from Charles Leclerc here. Warning, cooking in action. Politics is dead. Politics, there you go. Official news there. Rory almost missed the whole race, and this is a doozy, yeah, for the Ferrari fans. By the way, if you're the Tifosi, like, no offence, but I want to see you in the chat. If you're Tifosi, I want to see you. Get those Ferrari motors out. Get the horses out. I want to see if you're Tifosi, because it is the last lap. VSC! Why are we finishing on the VSC? Oh, it's Russell! Both the Mercedes have gone! Both the Mercedes have gone! We're going to finish this under the VSC! Was it contact with Alfonso? I'm looking at the live pictures where they haven't hit the VSC yet. Carl just goes, wah! So as Carlos Sainz went on to... Oh, it's a big crash! My goodness me, that has to be full safety car. How is that not a full safety car? How is that not a full safety car? That is a huge crash for George Russell. And I haven't seen a crash like this. He sort of tipped over halfway. He sort of tipped over 45 degrees. And frankly, I'm astonished. I mean, I guess VSC is the same, that you just have to go... The race should be completely neutralised there. You can see how Leclerc's really closed up on Carlos Sainz, but that race should be neutralised because that is a big crash for George Russell, sort of on the racing line, blind. Cars are going around him. I'm not sure about the race direction here. I feel like that should be... Race should be neutralised. That really should be a red flag, actually. That should... I'm not even sure I'm comfortable with that being a VSC, to be honest. That's just my opinion on it. Because on the I just feel like realistically as racing drivers on the last lap, and I've been there, you know, yellow flags like, oh, can I maybe get a position here, close up? So not overtake on the yellow flag, but close up. So Carlos Sainz does win it, by the way, but it's a confusing end, and I just want to make sure George Russell's okay. He's going to sweat his way out of the cockpit. It looked like he was moving around, but it's a very big crash. I haven't seen any further replays of it. But yeah, Carlos Sainz does win. So, if you are the Tifosi, yeah, pretty clearly they didn't want to red flag it because it was the last lap, and then maybe they need to do a 1 lap restart. But, oh my goodness me. Maybe that should have been the cause of action. But anyway, Carlos Sainz goes over, and it is a 1-2 for Ferrari. The Tifosi are back. How do I turn on my little light? How does this work? I don't know how my light turns on. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's not important. It's not important. You can't even see it anyway. But yeah, Tifosi. Right. Oh, I mean, some medical cards come out. So George Russell does get in a medical car, but it looks like the rear suspension of that car just completely collapsed. And it's perpendicular, tipped on the racing line on the exit of a blind corner. I'm not comfortable with that being a VSC. He just lost it behind Fernando Alonso, hit the back end, ripped all of the sort of suspension off, and then tipped over. And he looked worried and panicked in the car because he knew that he's in a real bad place on the last lap. So, yeah, I don't know if anyone's got any thoughts on that, whether that was the right thing to do. So he went through the gravel tap a lot, and then the car, the left rear sort of ripped off and went underneath the car. So it could have been really bad for someone coming into that at full speed. I think he crashed just at the start of Sector 2. Nizuka's going to throw a party. Yeah, Ferrari, Carlos Sainz. Let's have a look at the celebrations now. Great news for Carlos. Great news for the Tifosi. If you are the Tifosi. I'm sure you are. Forza Ferrari. Jaden saying no one cares about McLaren right now. It's Ferrari celebrate time. Chat, let us know your thoughts. Are Ferrari back? What does this mean for the season? Does anyone know what this means for the points? How close is Leclerc to Verstappen now? It is done now. Carlos Sainz is the winner. Let me know if you can hear me chewing, if you don't want to. Ferrari forever. Night of the prancing horses. Hopefully Mercedes will do better at Suzuka. Well, we know, say Harris, you were at Suzuka last year, weren't you? Taking photos, if my memory serves me correctly. May not do, but... This was legit a Singapore recreation. Well, they call Australia, Melbourne the Singapore of Australia. They don't, but they do now. Yeah, George Russell walked away. I think George Russell's okay. My point is that that needs to be an immediate red flag. It doesn't matter if it's the first lap or the last lap or the middle lap. That's my perspective as a racing driver. Like, that needs to be a red flag because even if you put me under VSC, I'm still going to be hitting VSC max delta. I'm still racing to my VSC delta. So you need to neutralize that race. Otherwise, I'm going to be pushing whatever limit through there, whether it's yellow flags, double yellows, VSC. But no worries, guys. Jake Johnson. Thanks, Pfizer. Hope it was enjoyable in South Africa. Ed John's joining the Ferrari bandwagon. Well, we had the red lights on all the way through. And I put 2 Ferraris in the thumbnail of this video, did I not? I'm going to announce it now. I'm just a time traveller for the future, and I just knew it was going to be a Ferrari 1-2 in this race. Can I have some food? Go for it, but I can't. This isn't Willy Wonka. I can't put it through the TV screen to you. Yeah, good night if anyone's going to sleep. I'm going to go sleep after this. I think it's just getting light here in the UK. Sarah said crazy. Looks like Leclerc is struggling to get out of the car a little bit. Maybe he was really pushing it. We didn't get taken down today. That's great. We've had almost 20,000 people pass through the stream. Last year we were getting about 60,000, 70,000. This season, this is Australia, it's earlier, and there's been more, more match domination. So, Carlos Sainz throws his gloves away. He can't do that because he needs to be weighed. So, Carlos, they're going to throw him back some lead gloves. That old chestnut. Post-race penalty for Carlos Sainz for throwing his gloves away before he gets weighed. Well, if he gets weighed without his gloves, and he's still over the weight limit, that's fine, isn't it? I mean, crazy stuff happened in the sport. I remember in rugby back in the day, there was a player had a blood capsule, and then a strategic moment, he took the blood capsule and he looked like he was bleeding his mouth. He got substituted. It was all a fraud. Am I going to end the stream? No, I'm just going to chill and just let you know what's happening with the reaction. Carlos Sainz and Lando, ex-teammates at McLaren, coming together. Now I think Carlos is going to get weighed. Ah, they give him his gloves back. So a mechanic has given him his gloves back, but are they the same gloves? Are they the same gloves? Is it back-to-back with Japan? Surely it's not back-to-back, because that means it's Tokyo Formula E and Suzuka Formula 1 same weekend. Glovegate. Predicting F1. See you to sleep. So if I've missed anyone going to sleep. Classification.
25 points for Carlos Sainz. And it was Leclerc who got the fastest lap. I wonder if they would have said to Carlos, don't go fastest lap, we want Charles to get it, but that's risky. Günther Steiner is doing the interviews. Nice. The gloves might only be 400 grams. I've heard they're really heavy. Now, there's not that many drivers out. It just grays out when they get lapped. That's why. That is fake news. Yeah, there was a swimming thing that where the guy celebrated, but I thought it was a bit stupid to jump over in someone's lane. Like, you know, I know the guy in second was like, oh, but the guy in second could have. Yeah, anyway. Rules are sport is about rules, so. Thank you, Australia, for an entertaining race. Yes, indeed. Amy's watching the post-race. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining us today. I don't have a premiere to go to. I am uploading stuff on the Motorsport channel. So the Motorsport channel is above 100 subscribers. There's going to be a lot of content there from stuff this year. No one's watching the racing channel, which is good information for me, because maybe people don't really like that stuff. Amanda, why did they end the race? They ended the race because they completed all of the laps. There's no stupid questions here. Is Hamilton good? Yeah, Hamilton's retirement was nothing dramatic. Welcome, Moonlight Brush. Roger says rules are a technicality spelt wrong. But yeah, Carlos Sainz, the man who's been dropped for Lewis Hamilton, wins this race, has just had his appendix out, looks like an absolute fighter, is arguably the hottest property in Formula 1 after Max Verstappen. Who wants to pick him up? Who wants a bit of the Carlos? Don Carlos. Is it 1 week then Japan? So you mean it's 2 weeks to Japan? Is that really it? When they got on the podium, I don't know. Yeah, the crash was before checkered flag, and I still think they should have red flagged it. If they'd red flagged it though, they probably would have done one lap under safety car or something. It happened in the Indy 500 a lot last year, where there was lots of red flags right at the end. But yeah, something just looks right about a Ferrari overall driver winning Formula 1 race. Just kind of feels right. Yeah, it would have been a red flag in any other lap. It's a bit like in football when they don't give a penalty, but it would have been a foul anywhere else. I don't agree with that. I really think that was very dangerous. Especially you had people behind, like Alex Albon might have been battling Hulkenberg and whatnot. Thanks, C, for joining. I'm going to get a McDonald's breakfast or a Wetherspoons breakfast today. Wetherspoons opens at 8 AM, but I'm going to try and sleep before then. I've got lots of videos to do, and then I want to reschedule. I don't want to be making so many videos. It's not actually worth it, the amount of views they get, to be honest. So we're just going to make less at higher quality on the main channel. Still going to be lots of stuff going on other channels. But yeah, I think we'll be there for Suzuka. It won't actually be quite as early. This is the hardest one to do, isn't it? Isn't Melbourne the hardest? Then it gets easier. Charles Leclerc in P2. Look, you can't really understand what Günther Steiner is saying. Banter Steiner, who I've met in Monaco. Let's have a look down the order then. So Carlos Sainz P1, Charles Leclerc P2, Lando Norris P3, Oscar Piastri P4, Sergio Perez P5, Fernando Alonso P6, Lance Stroll with a decent result for him P7, Yuki Tsunoda I think with a great result for him P8, great result for Hulkenberg P9. In fact, generally a good day for good Sainz old team Haas. Max P10, Albon just outside the points, so really could have been Logan Sargent being outside the points. Then we've got the Ricciardo in P12, Gasly sort of out beating the stake cars there, although they're legally not known as stake because stake is gambling, so just pretend that it's not sponsored by a gambling team in Australia, even though it is sponsored by a gambling team and everyone knows that. So it's completely farcical. Ocon and P16, and then the big retirements. So we lost both Mercedes. Big blow for Mercedes and the constructors. So they finished so strong last year in the constructors, didn't they? Jaco Perez, 10 points on P5, just not enough. It's not good enough for Sergio Perez. I agree. Right, chat, it's going to be the podium, but I want to sleep, and the light is coming up now, so like if I can get to sleep before the light, that'd be great. So I'm going to wrap up very soon. 20,000 people popping through. I think it's maybe slightly better than we had in Bahrain, which is great. Obviously, I've taken out the F1 manager. I just think it's too risky. When I was speaking with some of the broadcasters, they're like, yeah, this is what triggers the copyright thing. And it's not one of these things where, because we're legally right, it's okay. We just sort out after. It's like it hurts us at the time. So I've just been a bit pragmatic there. But it's been great to do this. And yeah, the big news is that I will be in Misano for live Formula E. So if you've been watching the Formula E watch-alongs, we're going to be there speaking with all the drivers. So your opportunity, literally, to ask the questions that you want me to ask and get answered. Like any questions you have about racing, no stupid questions. We'll start taking them. We'll do some videos and stuff in Aston Discord, and I'll make sure they get answered. Thanks, Vlaka. Thanks for all the mods and everyone joining. Appreciate it. But yeah, I'm going to try and sort out my weekend after having some sleep, get things back on track after an unexpected day yesterday. And yeah, the next Formula 1 content will be in the from the studio. So thanks so much for joining, everyone. I've really appreciated it. It's been a fun one. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been the most dramatic Formula 1 race for a long time, genuinely. And Carlos Sainz has come out on top in a very confusing situation where he no longer has a drive for Ferrari next season. So thanks a lot, everyone. I will see you next time. I'm going to end the stream